Good morning, everybody, and a great weekend to all of you. Well, the application deadlines for the 2024 intake for most MBA programs have been announced. Now is a time when it is important for applicants to understand the admissions processes and how to navigate them. I am Shruti, an MBA admissions consultant with GOALisB. Having pursued my education at Stanford GSB and the Indian School of Business, I understand the value of thoroughly researching prospective schools. At GOALisB, we assist applicants to apply to MBA programs, international as well as Indian programs, and our focus is to assist you to evaluate the right program according to your career goals. Over the last few months, we have hosted a series of conversations to help MBA applicants understand programs and interface their questions with the admissions team directly. In the same series of conversations, we have with us today the admissions team from IIM Bangalore EPGP and IE Business School Spain. We aim to discuss the factors which are important for navigating the global business education today. So, thank you for joining us. And we have Mr. Balakrishna B., an alumnus of
Thank,
IIM Bangalore. He has more than 25 years of industry experience in leading IT and manufacturing companies. Currently, he is head of marketing programs at IIM Bangalore. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
thank you. It's my
And we
pleasure.
have and we have Ms. Namita Thita. She is the associate director for IE India and the South Asia office, joining us today to take this discussion forward. Thank you, Ms. Namita. Thank you for taking out the time on the weekend to join us today.
Thank you, Shruti, for having me here. Pleasure.
Right. And for the audience, thank you for joining us. Please keep on sharing where you are connecting us with us from, and also keep on dropping your questions. We will be taking up these questions at the in the next few minutes. And just to share with you how the next 40 to 45 minutes will be like, we have the plan as follows. We will have program overviews from the schools for around 10 to 15 minutes each, and followed by the panel discussion. So if you have any questions for the panel, please share them in the comment section and we will put them up for discussion once the overview is done. So over to you, sir.
Oh,
Please welcome Mr. Balakrishna with the introduction for the IIM Bangalore EPGP program.
thanks, Shruti. Let me open my presentation.
Yes.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is coming up.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Shruti and the team GOALisB. Today I'll be sharing information about IIM Bangalore, the different degree granting programs that we provide at IIM Bangalore, and in focus of our one-year MBA program, which is known as EPGP, Executive Postgraduate Program in Management. Uh, this is a one-year full-time residential program at IIM Bangalore. In addition to this one-year MBA program, we have other four degree granting programs. We have our PhD program, where students are eligible with 4 years of graduation and above. And next is our 2-year MBA program, which is a regular PGP program, 2-year full-time residential program. Uh, all domestic candidates we take through CAT exam, that is CAT examination, and students who are outside India, we consider those candidates with GMAT or GRE score. Then we have a 2-year weekend MBA program. This is mainly positioned for candidates who are in and around Bangalore or who can travel on weekends to Bangalore and who doesn't want to forego their current earning cycle. So for those students, we have the weekend MBA. That is a 2-year program. Classes are conducted on Friday evening and Saturdays. Then we have our PGP Business Analytics, which is started very recently. And this is also in line with our regular PGP program, where admission for domestic candidates with CAT exam and for candidates who are outside India, we accept applications with GMAT or GRE program scores. So today I will be sharing more information about our one-year MBA program, that is EPGP. Just before that, one slide about our institute. Oh, yes, we participate in rankings, but we limit ourselves mainly to two or three. One is on the FT ranking, another one is on QS, and next is our accreditation, that is EQUIS accreditation. And with respect to FT, QS, and other things, we are either number one or number two in many of those areas in the Indian market. And we are also globally positioned well within the elite group of 10, top 10 percentile of the universities. So that is with respect to the institute. Why I am saying this is this gives students a comfort level of when he is studying here, that at the time of selection of the institute itself, he feels that yes, he is choosing the right institute. That's why I'm sharing this rankings information. Coming to my program, the EPGP admissions is already started for EPGP program. I will be sharing more information about this particular program. Just one or two information about this program. Every year we take around 75 students. That is one section. When I say around 75, if the 76th student is as equally good as 75th, we don't mind considering him also. At the same time, if 73rd student is way below 72nd student, we may stop at 72 also. So in that way, a class of 75 students every year we take for this 1 year MBA program. 1 year is divided into 5 terms, 2 terms of electives and 2 terms of core subjects. First is a core subjects of 2 terms, and then comes two terms of electives. And in between the core and electives, you have one international immersion. That is a student, the whole student group will be traveling to different universities across the globe. The term 1 and 2, which is a core course, they have 13 courses they need to take, and 11 electives in the elective courses. And the beauty of this program is, being a student of EPGP program, you can choose electives from other programs also, like the PGP or the PGP EM program, that is a regular MBA program, or the weekend MBA program. If you find any course which is of your interest, which has been offered to those students as electives, you can choose those courses also. Same way, students of those courses, they can choose electives which have been offered to EPGP. So in this process, what is happening is the class profile for that particular elective is totally going to change. Then, as I mentioned, the international immersion. So currently this year, students are traveling to European schools, three different European schools they are going. Then another opportunity for students in terms of international exposure is a GNAM. GNAM stands for Global Network for Advanced Management Studies, which is been organized by the Yale University. IIM Bangalore is the only Indian B school which is partner for this GNAM. As a part of GNAM, we conduct a 1 week program for the students, and students from other universities, other 32 universities, they participate in this program. So you being a part of the GNAM, you will also be interacting with students, international students who are coming from the other schools. So this will be conducted in Bangalore, IIM Bangalore. And of course, to complete the program, you have a comprehensive project. Coming to the diversity of the class, just I've given you the last three profile, three batch profile. Class size has remained the same, 75. The average age of student is somewhere around close to 30, 32. And the work experience, yes, the work experience is minimum 5 years of work experience we need for this program, and an average work experience is between 7 to 8. The GMAT range, many students will have a concern about what should be my GMAT score. Let me tell you, at IIM Bangalore, there is nothing like the good or bad GMAT score. What we look at is how good the overall candidate is. So that you can see from the GMAT score itself is, in the last 2 years, we have seen students with even 620 also we are accepted. And again, let me tell you that just having a good GMAT score is not an assurance of a seat, but at the same time, having a good GMAT score will enhance your chances of getting admission in any of the business schools. Then diversity with respect to women and the student with international experience also has been there as a part of the batch. Admissions, we do admissions for this program in 3 rounds. The first round has already started, it closes in the month of August. Then the second round is between August, September, October. Then the third round is from October to November. So these are the 3 rounds of admission cycle we do. So at the end of the each round, there will be an interview, and then the shortlisted candidates will be announced, and also the offers are made at the end of each round. So the moment you are ready with your GMAT score, it is better to go ahead and apply in the round, whichever is immediately which is applicable. The admission process, the eligibility criteria for this 1 year MBA program, we consider candidates with minimum 50% in graduation and minimum 5 years of work experience after graduation. That means any exposure to industry before their graduation cannot be considered as work experience. Then a valid GMAT or GRE score, that is a last 5 years score we consider. Then we being a government organization, we provide reservations for SC, ST, OBC and other categories as per the rule. In our application, we require one statement of purpose and two letter of references. Then once candidate has been shortlisted for the interview, the candidate will go through a written ability test. This is before the interview. And then a written ability test followed by a personal interview. So this is what the selection process at IIM Bangalore. So these are the timelines. As I mentioned earlier, the application window and interview schedules are also already been identified. And these are just a timeline which is available on our website. One can look at it. Then comes your investment for this program. It is a 1 year MBA program. We have two kinds of accommodation that we provide. That is a single or a spouse accommodation. Or if they are coming with family or a children, then we provide a separate accommodation for them. So that is a 2 BHK house is provided for a family accommodation. Just for that, the prices are different. There is accommodation for a single or with spouse, it is 80,000. And if the student is coming with family, then it is 3.76 lakhs is the accommodation charges. So keeping that as a bar, other things are common. So it comes to 28.5 lakhs as a total fees for a single student, or if he is coming with a family, it will be around 31.46 as his fees. What it covers is the tuition fee covers all course material, computer, library, alumni charges, all those things are covered in this except their mess bill. So that is a separate one. And international immersion, the amount is an indicative number. Every year we try to manage within this. In case if there is a excess, we collect the excess amount from students, or if there is anything which is left out with us, that will be distributed. So 4.5 is an estimated cost. Scholarships are available both at the time of admission as well as the merit scholarships are available for these EPGP students. And education loans are also available. The moment you get an offer letter from IIM Bangalore, you can approach the banks, and banks are ready to provide you collateral free education loan. Placements is another important aspect of our process. At EPGP program, we provide placement support to the EPGP program students, and year on year, we are 100% placed. And it is a process which goes through right through their right from the admission, the register. Once they do the registration, now even we have started interacting with students, the incoming students, even before their registration also. So where we understand their requirement and their career path and what is their uh, the goal kind of it, how they want to build up their career, and based on that we will also assign them to the right alumni of this program, and we take through the process. And during the program, if any student wants to explore an entrepreneurship side of the his plan, he can opt out of the placement and he can go for his entrepreneurial experiment. And in case if he feels that he did not succeed in his entrepreneurial experience, always he can come back to placement cycle in next 1 year and be a part of the placement process. So that's what the flexibility or the comfort level we are giving to students. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. The remaining things I would like to respond over in Q&A session. Back to you, Shruti.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction to the program. I think it has clarified a lot of questions that we had. And over to you, Namita ma'am, for an overview on the IEMBA program.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'll just start my presentation. Okay. Is that visible?
Yes, it's coming up.
All right, great. So, first of all, let me thank everyone for being here on a Saturday morning and listening to us. For those of you who don't know where IE University is, it is located in Madrid, Spain. It is one of the top international schools, offering courses across different specializations and pathways, which is there. Although IE is based in Madrid, we have a very international network, of 30 offices globally. I myself belong to the office here in India, and the offices here are to support not just in terms of recruitment, but also in terms of alumni relations and corporate relations, thus making IE a very global school with the kind of global network that students seek for when they come onto the campus. Um, we have one in MBA, the full-time MBA, which I believe most of you would be interested in. It's called the International MBA. And nowadays we call it the new International MBA because the curriculum itself has gone through a tremendous change. While keeping in mind the way we see the trends changing in the current job market, and the kind of skills that are required for students to have when they actually enter into this kind of global job market, and to cope up with the dynamics. So the way the program is curated is to help different angles of which I will speak about later on in my presentation. To give you quick facts about the International MBA, this is a full-time program on campus. We have one campus which is in Madrid. There are two intakes to the program, January and September. The program has three durations, 11-month, 15-month, 19-month, and the program is taught 100% in English. You do have the option of doing it bilingual with Spanish in case you have the fluency in Spanish to do so. The class profile, the average work experience generally goes between 6 and 7 years. We are looking at a minimum 3 years of experience from candidates who are looking at pursuing the MBA or applying for the MBA at IE. We consider experience till you start the program. Again, it's not mandated that you need to have managerial experience. People from different streams can apply for the program, and they're welcome. I has focuses a lot on having a diverse class profile, and you can see we have about 72 nationalities as per last cohort, which generally makes the program almost 92% international students. The average age is about 29, and of course, the ratio female and male about 35 to 65%. In fact, this intake we have done, it's grown better, where we have now 45% to 55% in terms of female and male gender ratio, which we're working hard towards. So, what is the new MBA, International MBA focused on? There are three aspects that we focus on in this program: your career, your impact, and your purpose. And that's how the program is curated to help you not just gain academic understanding about the business world, but also to be able to build and change and work on your personality and understand yourself better through this journey. I'll be playing a short video by the Dean of the Business School where he talks about what the next best you is. I hope you can hear that.
I have a question for you. Are you chasing after the next best you? At our business school, we believe education isn't really about filling your head with facts. It's about transforming you personally and professionally, creating those game-changing moments that all of us have at different times in our lives that move us from being what we are now to something better. We call that the next best you. Now there's the current you that has aspirations, that has strengths, and that has gaps. The thing is that aspirations need to be shaped and guided to be realized, and we can help you do that. Our strengths, not all of us know what our strengths are, so they need to be revealed, and then they need to be built on. And then there are those pesky little gaps that we all have, and many of us are not actually aware of. And we need other people to help us find them and fill those gaps. So this is all about taking you from the current you to the next best you. And that's our mission at our business. The next best you has three key elements. First is your career, second, your impact, and the third, your purpose. Your career is about figuring out all the different opportunities that are out there for you, and then choosing one and getting the skills that you'll need to succeed in the particular pathway that you choose. And we'll help you do that as your trusted curator. With your impact, it's about learning how to make things happen in the workplace, in the real world, with real people. Sometimes we have amazing skills in a particular area, but we can't make things happen. Why? Because we need better thinking skills like problem solving, critical thinking, creative thinking. It also requires behavioral skills, the ability to influence and persuade, to work well in teams, to negotiate, to debate. And we also need digital skills, the ability to work with data, to tell stories with data, and to make great decisions using data as a basis. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is your purpose. We all have some inner sense of purpose, some belief that we can have a major impact on the world. What we want to do is help you define, refine, and align that purpose with your chosen goals for your life and your career. So your purpose might be responsibility as a business professional for a better planet, or it might be working with other people in the workplace in a way that fosters their well-being and your own, working well, as we call it. So those are the three elements of what we consider the next best you: your career, your impact, and your purpose. And our mission is to help you better understand the current you and to get to the next best you. So we hope that you'll join us in that mission, and let's get working on the next best you.
So, what the Dean has emphasized on the three aspects. So, how is it that we help you out with your career? The way the program is curated, apart from you being able to just choose electives and specializations, we have curated a curriculum which also focuses on these 8 particular pathway which lead to different work skills under each of these pathways, which kind of define and help you understand that, okay, if you're looking at being an investment banker, what are the specific skills that you may be required as an investment banker, apart from having an understanding and specialization of choosing finance. So the 8 pathways that you can see, these are the 4 and the next 4, which are there. Your impact skills, which he spoke about, where you're talking about the 3 areas: your thinking skills, your behavioral skills, and your digital skills. And the elements that are focused on in these area throughout the program, in fact, because this is something that comes through a lot of activities, not as an academic learning, but rather as you work with teams throughout your program with case studies. That is the pedagogy of the program. And how exactly is it that you bring all of these skills together by the end of the program, right? So you're choosing what are the elements that work well for you as you progress through the program and move towards the aspiration that you have set for yourself. And your purpose. Again, he said purpose is something that can be much more larger in the element, and it's not something that is more of a short-term goal, but rather we're looking at it from a long-term perspective. And whether you want to focus on the planet, the society, the people, and these are the elements that are there. If you're looking at the planet, you're looking at, say, working on sustainable business. How well can you, elements that are required there. People, the society, the social impact projects that you can actually get involved in through the program, and working with well with others. Basically, this is something that we all look at as leaders. What kind of leader do you want to be? How is it that you can impact your team? What kind of work do you want to really do with them? How well can the people who are working with you grow along with you? So all of these elements are something that are focused. So you are basically looking at a lot of soft skill building throughout the program. So I spoke about the different structure or the duration of the program. That's 11 month, 15 month, and 19 month. Now, 11 month is the way the program is curated is focused specifically on those people who are looking at advancement in their career. So basically, what they are looking, they come from a management background, they have the management experience, but what they're looking at is growth, and hence the accelerated MBA. And the program does give you an option of specialization within it, but more or less, the focus is not for pivoting into a different direction, but rather growing within where your own space. The 15-month is basically for those who are looking at pivoting into a different direction. And here you are, the program is curated to help that change happen with the concentration, with the specialization, with internship, with exchange options. A lot that you can do within that 15-month that will help you and which will be your path towards that change. And 19 months is basically a dual degree where we have the option of combining our MBA with any of our specialized masters. Like I mentioned earlier, we offer a plethora of programs across different area of specialization. So if you want to build skills in, say, marketing and communication and more technical skills, then in this case, you can combine the MBA with, say, a master's in strategic marketing and communication, or a master's in digital marketing and analytics. Similarly, we have a business analytics and big data program or a finance program. So this way, with in less than 2 years, in fact, you actually complete 2 degrees, and at a lesser cost, of course, a discounted cost here. The admission process is quite simple. We follow a rolling admission process. I mentioned we had two intakes, Jan and September, and the application starts a year in advance. We have the application, like any other university, requires you to submit a set of documents. We do require an entrance exam. We need either the GMAT or the GRE, or in case you don't plan on taking that, you have the option of taking our own entrance exam. It's called the IE Global Admission Test. And of course, the whole process is 100% online. You have the online application, you take the test. The global admission test can be taken online as well. And there's no additional cost to it. And then you have the interview and then the final decision. So, all in all, the whole process takes about 3 to 4 weeks to be completed. Do keep in mind that we have a very holistic approach to the admission process. So it's not that one specific element decides on whether you're admitted or rejected. It's majorly the admission gives emphasis on every element, whether it's academic, your test score, your experience, your extracurricular, your letters of recommendation, the essay that you submit. So all of this is taken into consideration along with the interview before the decision is made. Scholarships are something that is very much available to every student who's applying for admission, and this is something that is it's IE funded scholarship. You have over 20 plus scholarships that you can apply for, and they are divided into merit, diversity, financial need. All of these are partial scholarships, so they go between 10 to 40% of the tuition fee, right? So I hope we can see yourself thinking about the next best you and getting ready for that. That's it from me. If there are any other questions, of course, we can take that up during the Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Namita, and thank you, Bala, for your thoughts and the presentation. I think that has actually given us a basic overview of what we should plan. One question that has been coming up, again and again in the comment section as well, is about the age group of the cohort. So there are people with 16, 18, 20 years of work experience. How does the school look at it? In case, Bala sir, if you would like to go ahead at it first, in terms of what is the age group that the school looks at, and how is it actually that the cohort is chosen when we look at this program?
Yeah, sure. Many students have these kind of concerns. So first and foremost, at IIM Bangalore, we never put a limit for age group. So age is not a criteria for us, but what we look at is a minimum work experience is what we look at. For our program, there is 1 year MBA program, minimum 5 years of work experience is what we look at. And again, any industry exposure before graduation is cannot be considered as work experience. So after his or her graduation only, the exposure to industry can be considered as work experience. That's point number one. Point number two, the upper years of work experience is not at all a negative, but what we look at is what is the new value addition this person is bringing to the class. So that is what we will be looking into that. So you might have seen in my profile, class profile also. So up to around 12 years is comfortably we take. But students with more than 12 years of work experience, we look at what is that key factor that he is bringing into the class. Is he coming from a defense sector, or is he coming from any government sector, or a sector which is not being represented so far? So those kind of the things that we look at as a unique contribution from this candidate to the classroom. So based on that, we decide upon those students, but it is not at all negative. The higher the work experience is always never looked as a negative from IIM Bangalore.
Right. And Namita ma'am, what about your thoughts on what is the age group which should apply, and is there an upper limit for the application process?
Well, I agree with what Bala sir has said that we also don't have specifics in terms of age group. Age can be varied and it's very different. What we focus on a lot is the kind of experience you're coming in with. That's where the focus is. So, generally, if you look at it, majorly, a lot of universities will say 10 plus years of experience for a full time MBA is questionable. But it's not about the number, but rather about saying, okay, with 10 plus years of experience, what position are you in? Whether the program is going to be able to support the kind of aspiration you have in terms of growth in your own career. Because even when, from a company's perspective, when they're looking at people for a certain position, they have a certain profile in mind, and whether that is something that's going to be suitable. The other aspect is that you're coming into a program which is so practical, and more than 50% of your learning comes from your peer group. So, how comfortable you are with someone who has probably 18 years of experience, which I saw in the chat, to someone who may have 3 years of experience sitting in class. Are you comfortable with that kind of learning? Do you see that as a value add for you in terms of learning? So this is a lot that is what is evaluated by the admission. So we have people who may be admitted with 14, 15 years of experience, but it's not the same story for everyone in this. So it's very individual, and we try to understand the motivation to do the program and how well does it fit into us delivering to and meeting that expectation.
Yes. And coming to the the structure of the program, so 1 year is a pretty short time of for going to school and coming at a certain other the next level of your career. So how is the program structured? What are the kind of electives that are offered? And what are the contact hours? What do the students have in terms of international exposure? So please enlighten us on that part as well.
Yeah, Anita, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So, well, we have different duration into our MBA program now. We have the 11 month, the 15 month, and the 19 month, which is that because this is a program that is a more for experienced people, we do believe the fact that they are able to sustain the kind of intensity the program comes in. So it's not that students are missing out on anything. It's just that when they do the program, there is a sense of prioritization that comes with the thing. So understanding that you can't do everything, you need to choose and understand what is best for you and work towards that. So in the program, you have a lot of customization option. So, for example, if I want to increase my international experience further, I do have the exchange option. I can choose to do an exchange and do an entire semester at another school altogether to expand that exchange. In fact, IIM Bangalore is one of our exchange partners as well here. So we do have quite a few exchange options. There are immersion weeks and immersion month in the program the student can choose to do. So there are many options which are parallelly going on, and you are basically selecting to understand, do I go for the international immersion or do I choose another lab that I want to probably work and do a project with the company? So the choice becomes yours, and you kind of also understand what you want to go ahead and pursue. Most of the MBA, we believe that a 1 year MBA or a 1.5 year MBA for an experience profile, especially, is it saves on your opportunity cost as well, because you are back into the market much more quicker. And the way the dynamics work in today in the job market, you want to not miss out and miss out on the opportunity to be the first to experience it. Yeah.
Yes. And Bala sir, how is the program structured at IIMB for the EPGP program?
See, ours is a 1 year MBA program. It starts in the month of April first week and ends in the month of March. So that's how it's a tightly scheduled 1 year MBA, full 12 months. This 1 year is again divided into 5 terms. The first 2 terms are core courses. In during these core courses, the student will go through 13 core courses spread over different areas. That is marketing and HR, OB, the operations management, all those things. Then we have the electives. During electives, student has to take 11 courses, and as I mentioned during my presentation, he can choose electives from the other programs also. That is, elective which has been offered to the PGP program, the 2 year MBA program. If the student is interested, he can take that elective. Same way, student of a PGP program, he can choose an elective of EPGP program. So it's all a open choice is available to students. So thereby the class mix also changes. That's one side of it. Then the number of teaching hours, when it comes to teaching hours, it is 750 teaching hours in 1 year. It's not a small amount. For a regular PGP program, it is 950 teaching hours spread over 2 years, whereas here it is 750 hours in 1 year. So it is highly demanding program when it comes to the 1 year MBA program. And we also, the faculties expect for every 1 hour class, the student has to put at least another 2 hours of effort in preparation to that class. So in that way, each hour of teaching comes with a 2 hours of preparation for students, and that is the rigor of the program. And yes, one term of international immersion is there, which is a compulsory program for all students. There will be around 3 to 4 different colleges. The options is given to students, and they form into groups and they go to these colleges, international colleges. And in that, it is not only the classroom study they do; they also visit the industries and understand how an industrial setup is being done in a different environment, the culture, their way of managing, and the market, the consumer behavior. The whole lot of study is inbuilt into that international immersion program that is for a duration of 2 weeks. So this is the structure of our 1 year MBA program.
Yes, sir. And coming to the admissions process, so when people with work experience are applying, so the first, the milestone that they have to cross is the GMAT or the GRE test. So that becomes a pretty huge milestone at some point in time, because you're going back to books after a long time and everybody does not score in the same range. So what is the weightage of different components of the admissions process, or how does the school look at the GMAT score, the academics, and the work experience that they're coming from? So do enlighten us on, what is the admissions process and what are they looking for in the applicants when I put up an application to the program?
Yeah, sure. So at IIM Bangalore, mainly we look at the past academic performance of the student. That is at 10th, 12th, and the graduation marks, what we look at. Then the next is the number of years of work experience. Then comes the diversity, that is from education background, then the work experience background, and the industry from which he is representing. So these are all the diversity that we look at in addition to the gender. Then any significant achievement that student has done, so that also is a plus point. Then international exposure to students, that is the student bringing in a new experience of a different geography to the classroom. So that is the way we look at that international experience and the exposure, in addition to our GMAT or GRE score. So when it comes to all these parameters, can you tell me which is the parameter the student is currently managed to increase? Can he work on his past academic performance, 10th, 12th, and the graduation? No, it is already given to
Yeah.
him. Then the number of years of work experience he cannot change. The industry he is representing may not be, because he has already worked in that particular industry. The diversity factor also is not there, or significant achievements. The overnight it may not happen. So what is in his hand or her hand is the admission test score, that is GMAT or GRE score. So my suggestion to students is always I tell them prepare well for GMAT or GRE. So that is one variable which is still under your control. So try to convert it into your best possible score. Take as many as mock tests and try to see where you are compared to the population. And during mock test, if you are getting at 730, 740 as your GMAT score, but some reason on the exam day you end up with 700, my suggestion is not to accept that 700 score. Even though 700 may be good for some schools, but you as a candidate don't compromise on GMAT score. The moment you compromise on GMAT score, you will be compromising on the school, and that may have an impact on your career also, because the brand that you want to carry, if it is a Harvard, is the brand that you want to carry, and if you go to a next level of school or a third level of school, then rest of your life you'll be carrying that brand. Don't do that. So please focus on the GMAT score or GRE score, do well, and try to get the maximum benefit of this GMAT or GRE score. And the next important point that you asked is what is the weightage that the institute is giving. So at our institute, the admission committee is going to decide on that. And again, there is nothing like there should be a minimum GMAT or GRE score. Okay. So you have seen in my presentation, person with 620 also he has made into the class. So we have many candidates less than 700. So how they are coming up is they are bringing a new thing to the classroom which other 74 students are not having. So that is the way we evaluate students, and we select students. So just GMAT GRE alone is not the decision maker. So but don't compromise on your GMAT and GRE score. That's an input that I would like to give to students. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And sir, taking this question forward, what would be some examples of diversity spike, or maybe a sector which acts as a diversity in the classroom? What could be some points on considering that?
Yeah, one point may be a person coming from a defense sector, a person coming from a healthcare sector, people coming from government sectors. So, or people who work in a core industry itself, but in a strategic role. So these are all the kind of things which comes handy to student.
Yeah. And Namita ma'am, what would be your thoughts on the importance of the GMAT or the GRE in the admissions process, and how does the school weigh the rest of the aspects of the application as well?
Absolute. I mentioned earlier in this as well that we look at it, we have a very holistic approach when it comes to the whole admission process. So every element is important. You keep getting these questions where it says, if I have a low academic score, does a high GMAT make up for it? I would say that it's not that it makes up for it. It does bring strengthens your profile in some way. So if it's not that the admission is going to say, oh, this person has low academic, but he has high GMAT score. I'm not going to look at his academic at all. That's not how they evaluate a candidate. They will question you on every element to understand what has transpired through that whole process of yours. As they said, as Bala sir mentioned again, that academic is something that has gone and done, and you can't do anything about it. But the way to move forward is to strengthen the other elements that you have control over, and that's something that GMAT is something that you can consider working hard towards. But again, that does not mean that if you get a 650 you don't have a chance. It's about the way you present yourself, and you work on your entirety of your profile. right? Also, the fact is, a lot of times it also depends on what exactly you're seeing yourself to be. Now, suppose I come from, say, a marketing background and I want to move into consulting. I would probably need to showcase a higher aptitude because that's my aim in terms of moving into consulting, where the quant aspect plays a very important role. So you have to also understand those elements when you are really evaluating your profile while applying for any specific school. So there's no cutoffs as such. Honestly, those schools will have cutoffs. They're just going to look at it very individually and say, okay, this candidate has these elements. Does a 650 fit him well? That's the idea here. So I think it's more about focusing on the overall profile, but and test score is something that's important. The other question, just to add to this, is a lot of people say, what is the cutoff for Indian students? There I does not have that. Honestly, again, we don't have a specific cutoff for Indian students only. All students are looked at par, and we are going to be basing a lot of evaluation on profile base rather than just GMAT base. So yes, a 650 has as much admission chances as a 750, and vice versa. Yeah.
So that is a question that we usually have, what is my chance of getting into an X school or a B school? But actually, it is always 50-50. You have to work on it and work on all the parts of the process. And so, coming to the next part of the admissions process, the interview. So, what aspects do the interviewers focus on, and what is the discussion like? And what is the interview process actually intending to look at when they are interviewing an applicant?
See, interviews may not be the same for students. Um, the question what we asked there, or when I was a panel member for a PGP, we had a thumb rule saying that we should not repeat the question in that whole day. Okay, but what we try to evaluate is this candidate is the right candidate for this program? So how we going to evaluate is what is his interest and how this program is going to fit for him and how he is going to get benefit. Is he able to absorb the content here and make use of this content for his career growth? So these are the ways in which we try to evaluate candidate. And also, of course, we look for his clarity of thoughts and his vision and freedom of expression, the freeness of expression, all those things we look at. There is no particular thing that these are the things that we evaluate or we look forward for in a candidate. Yeah, the whole interview can start in an abrupt way. But one thing I would like to give as an input to candidates, all the information what they have shared with us, those are the inputs for the panel members to ask questions. So, what is the input the student is giving? His statement of purpose. The second one is the letter of recommendations. So, these are the two areas the interview panel will get a lot of information about student as what he has expressed and what others have told about him. And we start digging on that. And we will come to know how true whatever that he has mentioned. In case if we found that whatever that he is claiming and it is not up to the level what he has mentioned there, that becomes a suspicion with him. So don't give a chance to suspect by the panel members on whatever that you are claiming there. So that becomes a totally negative. Be true to yourself and be honest and just mention what is your interest and why are you for this program and how this program can help you as per your own understanding. So that's the way I look at any interview, the MBA interviews at IIM Bangalore.
Great. And Namita ma'am, what are your thoughts on the interview process? What are the interviewers looking for?
For us, it's very clear. The whole process is to know the student. That's the end goal of the whole application process. An interview is sort of concluding everything put together, right? So you have the application, you get all the information of the student from there, and then of course the interview goes on that, just like how Bala says it. But Don't treat it as a job interview. The idea is not to test you on your technicalities. You are the expert on that technicalities. No one's going to test you on that part of thing. But it's just basically to know you, understand like the motivation well, study the school well, to also understand how well do you know of the school, and also to basically understand what, when you say I want to become this, I want to change myself into this, we want to understand from you how much have you really invested into learning about that, that you want to make that change as well. So be prepared. Be prepared on every grounds, starting right from your CV that you have put across, and you have mentioned so many things about yourself, and they will start on this. But apart from this, of course, we are looking at, testing your soft skills. How well do you communicate? How confident are you? Are you able to tackle questions that are not your area of expertise? And how well do you really think through that, and how open are you to being able to evaluate? Don't hesitate to talk about your failures. It's absolutely okay. We don't just want to hear all the achievements that you've heard. We also want to know how human are you with the whole thing. Everyone comes with achievements, with pluses and no minuses. It's not humanistic. So we want to know you much more better. So be open about what you really want in that whole process. But yes, prepare well, understand the school better, understand what you're looking for better, so that you're able to articulate it better to us. That's pretty much what our interview would have here. Yeah.
Great. And we are almost running out of time now. I just have one last question, that is on in terms of career plans and career goals. So Balasa, when we are looking at a certain career plan vis-a-vis the MBA application, how specific should one be when they are putting up an application to the school? How, so there is one broad area of the career sector or transition that I want, and another is a very specific, very pinpointed approach to it. So what is it that you would recommend?
See, my recommendation is yes, these are not freshers. They have an industry experience exposure of minimum 5 years and an average of 7 to 8 years of experience, which is good enough for them to understand that particular industry and the role what they are playing. During these 7 8 years of their exposure to the industry, they might have come across some kind of what I can say shortfalls in themselves for a career growth, or they may find the some other area is more interesting for him than the what he is doing. So he may identify certain focus areas. So that may be the area which I wanted to go in terms of the business. Forget about the technical side of it and the business side of it. Say person who is into the software side, he wants to explore the business development side of it because he know the technical how know-how of the product and he can be a better salesperson. Yes, he can focus on that at the time of interview and take an admission. But when he is doing his program, he should not be tuned only towards the marketing as his focus. He should have an open eye for other areas also. It can be the operations, or it can be the personal management, the HR, or it can be the strategy, or it can be the international, or it can be the data science. So what I would like to tell him is, for the interview, yes, he can come with a mind saying that this is what I want to be after this program, but during the program let him be open so that he can know so many things which he doesn't know about the other areas. So point number one. Point number two, again, we during the interview we never insist candidate that he should come with a focus area saying that he wants to be in the business analytics side of it. No. If he has an idea, well and good, and we will ask why, how, all those things. If he doesn't have an idea, but if he has a interest to learn different business aspects and then focus on one which he is exposed to and which he loves, that is also perfectly fine with us. So let him not start the program with an intention of what is the area or the career. This is the kind of the role I want, kind of it. Let him go through this program as an education, with an open mind to all areas. And then while choosing electives, he can choose electives based on his interest. Then, while having electives, there will be so many clubs in the institute. Through those clubs, he can get in touch with the industry leaders and try to build up his profile, and then position himself as a person who knows and know-how of that new role that he's going to manage. This is the approach that I would like to suggest.
And that is a very good step-by-step plan that anybody can actually follow and get to the other side of the table in that case. And Namita ma'am, in addition to career goals and how specific should one be, especially for international applicants looking at international careers, what is it that they should have in mind and how should they prepare once they are approaching an international MBA program?
Well, I mean, I completely agree with what Bala sir has said. For us, we've always had people, you have two kinds of people. One is who know what they want exactly and they are very set in what they want to, pursue. And then you have this set of people who are explorers. They want to explore the option, they want to come in and see what is there and then look at it. So they have a certain set of understanding that, okay, I'm looking at building my soft skills, I'm looking at building understanding a certain sector better, but I don't know what exactly in terms of function I probably want to go into. So you have a lot of people with coming in with mixed ideas, and that's also one of the reasons why we don't have a specific question in our application asking why you're looking at an MBA. Our essay question says, tell us something about you that is not there on your CV. So it's more to do with, because we understand that people change mind because you yourself are exposed to very limited things in your in your day-to-day life, in your work and so on. So how, when you get into something where you are exposed to so many people coming in from different background, you yourself are looking at exploring those options and understanding whether this is there, and this is a possibility, and the program helps you curate that as well. When you're coming into an international school, international business school, one thing to keep in mind is don't limit yourself to only that particular country where your school is based. An international school is there to give you global outlook and global opportunities. So keep your mind open and explore opportunities, and don't shield yourself saying that, okay, this is only the thing that I want. If you keep that, then you probably miss out on so many things and so many opportunities that might be helpful for you than otherwise. So keep that mindset, when you get into any of the program, and when you're looking at career opportunities outside of your home country, or even back in your home country. Yeah.
Great. And thank you, panelists. Thank you, Bala sir. Thank you, Namita ma'am, for joining us today. You spared 1 hour on the weekend, and I think it has been a very fruitful discussion. We've learned a lot of other aspects except for just the application and filling up the application and things like that. And we've learned a lot about planning our careers ahead. And I think we'll have more questions coming in. So people, please, thank you for joining us, the audience, and do share in your questions. Feel free to put up your questions in the comment box and we will take it up with the admissions team, and you can always reach out to them individually as well with your questions. So uh, we'll close the session now, and good day to all of you.
Yeah, thanks, Shruti, for this opportunity to address to the your audience there. And I would like to make one more announcement here. Tomorrow we are having a webinar about our EPGP program, the one-year MBA program, where current batch students and the alums are also participating, and links are available on the IIMB website. They can register and participate. It is scheduled at 4 p.m. tomorrow, the Sunday. Yeah, that's it.
Great.
Thank you. And nice to be with on panel with Namita here. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you so much, Shruti, for having us, in this wonderful discussion. And thank you, the students, for being here and listening to us, and for the wonderful questions that are there. We'll make sure to answer those. Absolute. And Balasa, as usual, always wonderful to be with you in a panel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.